Washington, D.C. after dark projects an aura of security, especially when the nation's political elite gather under one roof. The Washington Hilton hosts events so sensitive it operates like a fortress. On this night, it was the venue for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Inside the ballroom sat President Donald Trump, surrounded by a multi-layered ring of federal protection. He was joined by Vice President J.D. Vance, the FBI director, and roughly 2,500 VIPs packed into a single room. That concentration of power makes the breach difficult to comprehend. A man carrying a shotgun, a handgun, and several knives managed to reach within a few feet of the open ballroom doors before firing multiple rounds. Chaos erupted immediately. Secret Service agents sprinted towards the stage, tackling the shooter while taking rounds to their bulletproof vests, as others physically dragged the vice president to safety. Once the suspect was secured, investigators expected to find a known extremist on a federal watch list. Instead, they identified a highly educated professional. How did an individual who perfectly fits the profile of a successful American citizen bypass the multi-layered federal protections surrounding a sitting president? Collin Thomas Allen is an engineer with a prestigious academic pedigree, holding a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the California Institute of Technology. He followed that up with a master's in computer science from Cal State. He worked as an engineer, was recently named Teacher of the Month at a tutoring center, and even designed an emergency brake prototype for wheelchairs. In 2019, he developed and registered an online video game marketed as a skill-based, non-violent competition inspired by chemistry models. Law enforcement relies on psychological models to identify lone wolf attackers. Allen has no criminal history, a stable career, and a history of public service, which deviates from almost every expected pattern. To protect a president, the Secret Service establishes a hard, visible perimeter, deploying heavily armed tactical units to deter physical threats from approaching the venue. This diagram shows the compromised perimeter. Instead of electronic screening, the hotel relied on checking invitation cards for lobby access. Allen used this unscreened pathway to bypass metal detectors entirely. Once inside, he utilized his engineering background to reassemble weapons smuggled in smaller pieces. A mild-mannered teacher stepped into a hotel hallway fully armed, triggering the longest 5 minutes of chaos for the Secret Service. Allen's intellect did not prevent him from committing violence. Rather, it served as the tool required to bypass physical security measures designed to catch brute force rather than calculated exploitation. Allen is currently in federal custody, facing severe charges for using a weapon during a violent crime and assaulting with a dangerous weapon. Following the attack, President Trump publicly characterized Allen as mentally ill, while praising the dozens of undercover agents positioned throughout the room. But the investigation is complicated by Allen's digital footprint, which was rapidly scrubbed from the internet, including a complete deletion of his meta profiles. The most scrutinized piece of digital evidence currently driving public speculation is a widely circulated image purportedly showing Allen wearing a sweatshirt bearing the logo of the Israeli Defense Forces. Other anomalies keep surfacing, from pre-event spikes in Google searches for his name to a television interview hours before the dinner, where a spokesperson used the phrase "some shots fired" as a political metaphor. These unresolved threads leave intelligence agencies with a suspect in custody, but very little clarity on his true motive. The Washington Hilton attack shows that even the most dense protection details have blind spots. It forces a reevaluation of how a calculated mind can exploit the very trust that high-level security systems are built upon.